This is just inaccurate bullshit. It's complete lunacy. More people died last year to badgers than great white sharks. I know that! Greg, I know that! It's still lunacy, and according to the Ultimate Book of Sharks, it is inaccurate in every single way. What other research material could there possibly be, Greg? This isn't going to be a fun review, is it? Hello, my name is Hunter, the movie reviewing pony, because when it comes to cinema, I fucking hate this movie! Asylum! These guys are a special kind of bad. Every one of their movies costs less than $1 million, their effects are cheap, their acting is bad, and most of their films exist purely to fool grandmas into buying the wrong movie. They know exactly what they're about, and they don't care. Where most movies go left, Asylum goes down. Normal filmmakers release High School Musical and they're like, hey, Sunday School Musical. Over here, these guys are like, hey, we got Pacific Rim. Asylum will be like, hey, Atlantic Rim. Ho ho, funny joke. James Cameron comes out and says this is the highest grossing movie of all time, except it won't be in a few years, and Asylum says, Hunter Reviews Titanic 2 is the most watched video on this channel. Little did we realize there was something far more dangerous that Asylum was capable of. Actually creating their own original content. This is where Asylum goes from fuck to very fuck. Case in point would be today's movie, which ended up with an uncomfortable amount of revenue and success. Sharknado.
Baby shark, baby shark, baby shark, baby shark.
Sharknado is one of the most disgustingly stupid movies on the face of the planet, and the only reason I consider it not one of the worst movies on the planet is because the day before the screening of this, we watched Freddy Got Fingered, which was worse, but I feel like this is a different kind of bad. Also, it might actually be worse because people like this movie. So much so that they made, 6 movies after this one? Seriously, they made 6 of these. The last one being called The Last Sharknado, It's About Time. Only now we're waiting for Sharknado 7. No, wait, we lied. Because Asylum is terrible. In many ways, I should add. Because Asylum is parasites. Parasites that leech off of more successful movies and then take advantage of ignorant grandmothers that don't know the difference between Onward and Homeward. And then every now and then they release a cheap original movie with cheap writing, cheap actors, and cheap everything just to turn a quick buck. And the worst part about it is people love this! People love this shit because it's all bad, but we shouldn't be supporting this crap. This is like supporting Unity asset flips on Steam. Oh, fuck! God! I went there, and I will not take it back. I don't know why. I shouldn't have to wonder why. I don't want to know why. But these people are still allowed to create movies somehow, which has got to be an accomplishment in itself. Unfortunately, I'm fresh out of Blue Ribbon, so they're just gonna have to settle for one big load of my hoof up your ass. So, without further ado, let's suffer through Sharknado. I should have known this day would come. So as the film opens up, we have an unnatural amount of sharks in the water, followed by a tornado, which I guess would be the title of the movie, as we jump into the people who actually made this film, and we find out that it is, in fact, a Sci-Fi Channel original movie. Ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga. So for reasons beyond me, this movie starts 20 miles off of the coast of Mexico on a little fishing boat, who's captained by this guy who looks like Ted from The Dog Who Saved Christmas, but he's doing an extremely fake accent.
1 million for the entire take. Not a penny less.
Okay, seriously, I get it. You hire pathetic actors for your movies, but you could stand to get someone who does a better fake accent than when I try to do the Liam voice. Oh yes, hello, is Liam, and is being here to make my Hunter reviewing debut. I is now do come to be reviewing of movie Shark Tornado film. Is good movie. Unfortunately for everyone on the boat, they start recreating the perfect storm. These two pull guns on one another. Glasses guy falls in the ocean and gets eaten by a shark, and then the captain, who looks like Ted from The Dog Who Saved Christmas, also gets eaten by a shark. Everyone on the boat is now dead. And as a footnote, all of these effects are fucking terrible. But what do you expect from a budget of $2 million? So after that, we get introduced to our main character finally. This is Finn. Not that Finn. Not that Finn. This Finn. He surfs and owns a restaurant. This scene goes on for a while, actually. They really wanted to emphasize that these folks are having fun at the beach. And then we cut over to said restaurant, actually, where we meet Nova. Who the fuck names their kid Nova? But before we can get an answer for that question, we meet George. He is not an important character. Don't worry. The only thing you do need to worry about is the hurricane, which is plot relevant. That is important. You do have to pay attention to that. Oh. And I guess it's back to the sunny beaches of California where nobody seems to give a shit about the giant hurricane that's barreling towards them. Given that this is an Asylum movie, it wouldn't surprise me if it was coming in at about 800 miles an hour. With a tsunami. And sharks. Well, okay, there aren't any 800 mile an hour tsunamis, but there are sharks. Many, 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 many sharks. I suppose now is as good a time as any to mention that sharks don't fucking behave like this. Sharks don't have an unquenchable bloodlust that makes them unstoppable, unquenchable killing machines. That's not how they work. Oh, but don't take my word for it. We asked a local shark expert.
Yeah, they don't do that. They don't. They don't have hands. They don't have them, like, grabby hands. So if they want to know what you is, they bite you. And then they fuck off because we taste like shit. Sharks do not do that. Only if they're territorial. And even then, it's more like I bite you once and then I back off and I glare at you from afar. I'll do it again if you don't get out of the water.
Okay.
And then you're stupid if you don't.
Okay, but what are the implications of that same shark being sucked up by a tornado with hundreds of other sharks?
Oh, they're dead. I assure you, they are long dead.
So, despite being very aware of how sharks work and our main character's incessant yelling that there are sharks everywhere, they start killing people despite being in knee-high water. The hell?
Everyone, out of the water now! We're evacuating the beach!
See, it was the lifeguard. The lifeguard has to come out with a megaphone and tell everyone that there are sharks. Otherwise, everybody's brainless. And they start tripping on stairs or some shit. By the way, why is Nova here surprised at this? She's indoors! Well, you see, this is just something that every Asylum movie does at one point or another called panic mode. Everyone will immediately run in the opposite direction of the problem, despite maybe not even being in direct danger. This often results in more injuries than necessary and a lot of people tripping on stairs. By the way, this shark is slowly moving towards Finn. Oh, he better get his ass out of the water. Otherwise, he might be dead in about 2 minutes. And some lady falls on the beach, and there's the falling off of stairs! I told you! I told you it would happen! Oh my god, why are there people falling down dead on the beach? Aren't they land sharks now? Yet our main character can paddle over to a jet ski parked half a mile away from him and not get bitten by any sharks. What the hell is that disgusting crap? That is the definition of plot armor. But the Sharknado hasn't even shown up yet, and I'm already angry. And then the lady from earlier is running up the beach towards the sharks, and they beach a jet ski, and then there's this guy on the beach whose leg has been bitten off, and then we're back to this guy who's definitely more important than that guy. Seriously, you take the med kit over to this guy who I can't even see his injury when there's that guy screaming because his leg is missing. Well, yeah. This guy has insurance. Legless guy doesn't got insurance.
What were you thinking? You could have been killed.
What was he thinking? Lady, he was probably thinking he was gonna have fun in the sun. And then an army of sharks showed up and started killing everyone, and people are still screaming and running about it. And then we cut over to Finn's restaurant on the California Boardwalk, which he definitely owns, where we're talking about, you guessed it, more sharks. Because this is a shark movie, we can only talk about that. Everyone in our standard hero team is here. We need the leader guy, we need the hot girl, we need the weirdo who's just sort of there, and we need another guy to go in and die immediately.
Hurricane David is poised to be the first hurricane to hit the state of California, and it is now barreling toward the Santa Monica shorelines.
Okay. What was that line, Reed?
We have suffered tropical storms in the past, but we've never been hit by a storm quite like this.
Listen in thrilling detail as I broadcast this weather forecast, and my voice never breaks an octave, but I'm quietly yelling.
Widespread flooding is expected, and experts are saying global warming is the reason for this unprecedented event. We will be back.
Yeah. Cut to the people in Birdemic 2 saying it has to be global warming.
It has to be global warming.
So Finn here calls his wife, I think it's his wife, I think it's his ex-wife.
My wife.
Yes, he says that, but I'm gonna guess ex-wife anyway. Finn is calling because he's concerned that his ex-wife and his daughter are going to get caught in the storm, despite the fact that most of the suburbs in Los Angeles are built on a hill, so they don't need to worry about that.
We're exactly 6.6 miles from the ocean.
There, exactly. See, 6.5. Do I really need to explain the layout of Los Angeles to you? Okay, here's the map of Los Angeles. Most of it is in a fucking flat land, granted, but if you look at the actual potential areas that will flood, this is a really stupid movie, isn't it? Look, Finn, buddy, there is a 96% chance that your family is fine. Once again, the movie plot is within the realm of impossibility. What is it with Asylum and not knowing how weather works? Next thing I know, they're gonna be experimenting with tornadoes and volcanoes, and maybe volcanoes versus airplane. Oh, go to hell. Dean Cain, why are you in this? So Finn decides weather is fucking stupid. He's closing the bar, and now everyone has to go home, and we gather up our elite team of friends, which includes George, who is dead asleep. And a fucking shark jumps through the window and kills somebody. But that's okay, scantily clad waitress is there with a pool cue to stab it in the head. With some of the worst CGI I have ever seen. 3D effects on par with fucking Ratatouille. Oh my god. So we pass out some weapons like a baseball bat, and the waitress gets a shotgun, and he gets a pistol, and George gets a fucking bar stool. So wait, that's not fair. She gets a stubby shotgun. He gets a Beretta M9. The other guy gets a baseball bat and he gets a bar stool? Oh, but no time to question that as a oh, wait, no. Oh, no, wait, no, there it is. Okay, it came back. As a giant wave swallows the restaurant. And the crowds immediately go back to the running and the screaming and throwing shit, probably. What the fuck is happening right now? Shoot it! No, apparently we need this guy with the bar stool to come in and smack it to death because she doesn't know how to use or aim a shotgun. It's a shotgun. And this is a stupid movie. Chances are we're going off of the short-range version of a shotgun and you don't even have to aim the stupid thing, and since it's a stupid movie, you don't even have to reload it. So the Ferris wheel starts to fall apart, people are running and screaming, the boardwalk floods for some reason, and people are tripping over every single object on the pier. This guy shoves I'm guessing a helium tank in a shark's mouth so the protagonist can do a whole Jaws reference. Next, completely unrelated to the shark situation, the Ferris wheel falls off its hinges and we gotta run away from the thing like Raiders of the Lost Ark. Okay, I got a revolutionary idea for you. If you move slightly to the left, it'll just roll right by you. So they're running and 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 running. And then by the miracle of editing, they all magically escape from the rolling Ferris wheel. And it rolls over a guy and then it smashes into a Holiday Inn, I guess. I'm dead serious here. This shot right here is the next shot we see of the protagonist. Yeah, thank God we got away from the killer Ferris wheel completely off camera because we don't have the budget to do anything better. Oh, but hey, at least the restaurant is okay. Provided that the insurance will cover killer sharks and tidal waves. And maybe even giant out-of-control Ferris wheels that defy the laws of physics. I still think you could have just moved slightly to the left. And then it starts raining. Like, wow, really raining, like, bam, holy shit, that's a lot of rain to just come out of nowhere all of a sudden. What happens next is just pure movie-making logic. We need to sit in this car for about 3 minutes and explain how fucked the situation is and talk about the rain. Or about nothing in particular.
We gotta get to higher ground.
Freeway, take the freeway. It's way above street level. You take the 10 to the 405, you're almost in Beverly Hills. And then there's no way that the ocean has washed inland that far.
What makes you an expert on Beverly Hills, George?
That's where I live.
George, if you live in Beverly Hills, how come you come all the way to the coast to drink at my bar?
I don't know, I like the view, you know? There's a beach and there are all these scantily clad women there who pretend to like me if I buy them.
Okay, that's good. That's enough. I think the viewers get the picture. 47 awkward conversations later, we finally make it to the freeway, but something is wrong because everybody has stopped their car for no reason. And then water gushes over the side of the freeway. I mean, now they have a reason to stop, but they didn't before, so I don't know what the fuck they're doing back there. And naturally, the water's full of sharks, and they all start murdering literally everybody because sharks have no brain cells, only primal instinct. All they know is murder, and all they wish for is blood, because that is how sharks work. Everybody runs back to help, and hot damn, that is fake looking. Blah. Anyway, they all go back to help, but they're not really helping. They just sort of open everyone's car door and point up the ramp. George, he doesn't really do anything. He just opens up the trunk of the car and pulls out a bar stool, which he still has for some reason. And then George, in his never-ending wisdom, smacks the window with definitely the most lethal side of the bar stool and saves a dog. Because it's not like the dog would have been safer inside the car, or anyone else for that matter would have been safer inside the car. Except every single person here would definitely have been safer in their cars. All of those people are seemingly missing in the next shot, no idea where they went, but George is taking his sweet time to get out of the underpass? Overpass? Some way to get onto the freeway or something. I don't know. By the way, he's dead. I'm so glad that we spent time developing that extremely important character. Let's all take a moment to remember George and his gracious contributions to the plot. Right, well, I think we've mourned George long enough. Now we have to get back in the car. We gotta keep driving. We gotta keep going. We gotta continue the plot. We only have an hour and 30 minutes to flesh this out. This is an Asylum movie. We are under contract. We are legally obliged to murder at least 1,500 people with sharks.
Look, we can't go through that. The aerodynamics in this car cannot match the wave.
The waves are only gonna get bigger when the storm gets closer. Trust me, if there's one thing I know, it's timing waves.
Okay, the last thing I want to hear in your Shark Tornado movie is you trying to explain the science behind waves and the science behind shark tornadoes. Especially after you've made a movie that had an 800-mile-an-hour tsunami. Seriously, you're making a movie for very, very stupid people here, Asylum. You couldn't science your way out of a cardboard box. Do not even try. And then we have another scene of us establishing that we are indeed in Los Angeles and driving down the road. They're not even having angry conversations anymore. They're just driving in awkward silence. And nobody is out on the streets. Except for the obviously moving people back there. Oops. There's even sharks coming out of the goddamn storm drains. I'm half expecting this movie to tell people to not drink the water because it has sharks in it.
Darn it, it's got sharks in it!
So we get to his ex-wife's house, and his ex-wife is not happy that he came all this way, and then a shark comes up out of the sewers. No, I read that right. Naturally, seeing the shark explode in her driveway was enough to allow everybody into the house. And it's here that we're introduced to Finn's daughter, and to a much lesser extent, Chad. Which isn't actually his real name, but he won't be around long enough for us to care. Plus, he looks and sounds like a Chad.
Finley, April is mine.
Excuse me?
My girlfriend is not your responsibility. And unless it's the 20th of the month, which it currently is not, neither is Claudia.
It's laying it on more than a little thick there, isn't it?
Con, don't be rude.
Wait, his name's Con? Ah, fuck, that's way better. Finally, I get to use this clip. Con! Wait. Okay, you don't have time to laugh at that joke because there are sharks in the swimming pool.
Sharks in the swimming pool is impossible.
Okay, that doesn't happen. This does, though. And then they put red food coloring in all of the water, and what's-her-face, the bartender, seems to forget that that shotgun actually shoots things, and Finn accidentally pulls Chad's legs off. Yeah, he's fucking dead. Because this particular shark's only instinct was to come in and completely fucking destroy this man. If sharks were actually this ferocious all of the time, in real life, nobody would go anywhere near the water ever again. Let alone build a bar at the end of a pier. The whole movie plot here is stupid. We're in Beverly Hills? We drove past a sign that said Beverly Hills. We're on the hill part of Los Angeles? I think everybody's fucked. If you're up to your waist in water trying to fight off a shark with a bookcase and a shotgun, which apparently doesn't work anymore, then that's it. The sharks have already won, guys. When suddenly, Without warning, waitress girl suddenly remembers, oh wait, this gun shoots bullets and I can kill things with it. Which begs the question, what the fuck have you been doing for the past 5 minutes? She completely forgets how guns work for minutes at a time. This is not the first time that this has happened either. The first one was back on the pier. We've been so busy fighting sharks, we didn't even take the time to mourn Chad, or Khan, or Chad Konsky. Why was he wearing shoes in the house? So after about an eternity, we decide that the house isn't safe anymore because, oh no, there's another shark. Because Asylum doesn't know how to create good conflict other than to throw more of the same thing at somebody. Also, despite being waist-high in water back in the house, the outside is still just moderately rainy. Yeah, that's not how that works. Also, that's physically impossible. And then... their house, specifically their house, collapses down the hillside for no reason. Not entirely sure if the water damage or the sharks are to blame for that one, though. You might want to bring this up with your landlord. I don't think Beverly Hills offers shark insurance. That deductible is nuts, too. What follows is another obnoxiously long scene in the car with them talking about the weather. But we can't leave town yet because now Finn has a son we just didn't talk about until now, and we gotta go get Matt. The fuck was that? But before we go get Matt, we have to stop everything we're doing, park at the top of a bridge, rappel down, and save every single kid on a school bus. One at a time. Slowly. This scene actually goes on for like 15 fucking minutes. Which brings us to a really interesting point, which is despite this movie being about a shark tornado, it's surprisingly boring. We have occasional scenes of stuff actually happening in this movie, followed by minutes of them just talking about what's happening. We don't even use these bits for any substantial character development. We get some, but it's not enough to get attached to any of these characters. Finn is only marginally the most interesting character on screen, and that's honestly only because he's the main character. And the thing is, too, you don't really realize how boring this movie actually is until you get to this scene with the school bus. Asylum doesn't give a shit about investing in their movies, and they don't give a shit about investing in their characters, so why should I give a shit about investing myself in this movie? Thankfully, we only have to watch the entire process of them rescuing one kid. They rescued the other 97 kids off camera, and then we have to rescue the bus driver who never shuts up.
I used to hate heights. Now I'm away from sharks. This is great.
And then we have to pull Finn back up. Slowly. And then a shark bites onto the rope. And then the shark hangs there for about a goddamn eternity. They vaguely reference that the rope is about to break, and then Finn finally decides enough is enough, and he cuts the rope with the shark on it. I don't know why he waited so long to do that. All the kids pile into the convenient ambulance, and then the wind picks up. Oh, also the Hollywood sign gets destroyed. We don't talk about that, though.
My mom always told me Hollywood would kill me.
Oh, come on! What did he do to deserve that besides not shut up? This is what Asylum movies do. They just destroy people's lives for absolutely no reason. I mean, you threw a building at him! This has been the logic in every single Asylum movie ever created by human beings. This character is no longer of use, therefore they must die. Oh wait, we can't mourn his death for more than 3 seconds because now the car is broken for no reason. Maybe if you didn't drive it through fucking waist-high water, it wouldn't be broken now.
What is that?
It's a water spout. Tornado over the ocean. Water gets sucked up into the air and...
Are those sharks?
Hey, finally! We're only 55 minutes into this hour-and-a-half long movie, and now we finally get shark tornadoes. It's like watching that movie, Apollo 18, where they spend the entire movie doing nothing and then moon rock spiders attack everyone at the very end. I really gotta get that review going. So, shark tornadoes are now on the table, so naturally, the next step, liquor stores. Because we need to drink heavily. We're in an Asylum movie. We gotta stress drink.
These storms ravaging the streets of Los Angeles, some religious officials are referring to this as the opening signs of the impending apocalypse.
Okay, yeah, thank you, news lady. That sounds terrifying, but stop yelling at me.
Apocalypse my ass. This isn't the end of the world. Gods, they're not angry with us. The aliens aren't coming down. It's the government. They're behind everything. They know what we buy, they know what we eat.
That's really fascinating, you fucking lunatics. So, how do they control the tornadoes to pick up sharks and throw them everywhere? You want to explain that to me, you chuckle fuck? So then again, how can you explain how the Titanic 2 just so happened to be right next to an iceberg when the tidal wave hit? Why do I get the feeling that in the Asylum universe, 9/11 was actually an inside job? Conveniently, across the street from this liquor store is a place where they can rent... Oh, God. No. The unnecessary horsepower. The 15 gallons to a mile. Good God, why did you buy a Hummer?
Look out! Whoa!
This is nuts.
Oh, thank God. We almost hit that fire truck that was in a completely different movie. Where's it going? What movie are you in? Take me with you. So then we run through a traffic stop because there was an accident that we happened to mention on the news, and now we're in a pointless cop chase. This cop chase does nothing to advance the plot, and in fact, once again, slows the movie down. But at this point, I don't think I care, because it's just a good way to kill some time. Oh, by the way, there's a giant tornado in Los Angeles now. Great. Oh, but we don't have time to focus on that, because we finally got to the airport where Matt is hanging out. I guess. And we spend another minute and a half where nothing is happening. Sometimes we look at the tornado, and then finally they find him under the stairs. But then the wind picks up, and the girl that we just met gets sucked out the ceiling, I guess. Nobody else does, just her. And now we're all hiding under the stairs. Because the director has no idea who he's going to kill next. Finally, the clouds move, and then I guess that means it's okay for them to come out from under the stairs. Look, even the sun's out. It's been a weird storm. Remember that this is a hurricane we're supposed to be having here. Lots of rain, lots of clouds, thunder, sharks, lightning, wind, hail, tornado. Did I mention the sharks? So now, despite the 3 tornadoes in the area that they just mentioned, they have the brilliant idea that they're gonna fly out of here in a helicopter.
We can't fly in these storms.
Oh. Then fuck that plan, apparently.
Stand and fight. We can't just wait here and wait for sharks to rain down on us again.
Oh. And how will you fight, Finn? How will you fight the tornadoes? How are you supposed to fight wind, Finn? Are you going to use a giant fan to blow the tornadoes away? You're already in a movie where hundreds of thousands of sharks got picked up by 3 tornadoes. It wouldn't surprise me. No, the real plan is something even stupider. We're going to break into the local hardware store, which is conveniently next door, by the way. Finn is gonna get a chainsaw because that's gonna help, and the rest of them are going to make bombs.
Instead of letting live sharks rain down on people, we're gonna get in that chopper and throw bombs into the tornadoes, blasting those bastards to bits.
No, that's dumb, because you literally just said you can't fly in these storms.
We can't fly in these storms.
Tornadoes happen when cold and warm air meet. Now, if you drop a bomb head right in the middle of it, you just might equalize it. But if you miss, we're screwed.
This is not okay. This needs to stop now. This is cancer. This is so much cancer that I can feel the tumors growing on my back.
This is the stupidest goddamn fucking idea I have ever heard to a solution to a goddamn problem in a movie since I watched The Core, which had a similar solution of blow it the fuck up. You can't throw a bomb into a tornado to get the tornado to stop. This idea is so stupid and so moronic, it was actually suggested by President Trump. You see what you did? You see what you did, Sharknado? You gave politicians bad ideas.
Hey, come on. What are you doing down here? What's the problem?
You're my problem.
Are we really gonna do that now?
You know what? Yeah, I'm with him on this one. Are we really gonna do that now?
He is my son.
I'm your daughter. You guys are always there for him and you're never there for me.
What the fuck are you talking about? Okay, he came for you first and then went to go get Matt. I'm sorry, you're clearly trying to have a bit of a tender moment here, and I'm just not invested in this at all. All of these characters are basically cardboard cutouts. Like, when you buy a movie called Sharknado, you don't really come for the character development. Then we start talking about scars, like how this guy got a gigantic scar by falling off of a slide? God, no wonder your parents are divorced. This kid clearly had a rough childhood. Then for comparison, Nova tells us the story about how her and her family went fishing, the boat crashed, the sharks ate everybody but her, she floated there for 2 days, then the rescue chopper showed up, and then the shark decided to attack her. Because fuck you. Because fuck you, it's an Asylum movie, and nobody gives a shit about your feelings. Everyone in these movies has a sad, torturous life, and they're staring into a dark, torturous abyss from which they will never escape, and their favorite pet is gonna explode for no reason, and they're gonna be really itchy, like, all the time, because reasons. And by Jove, if anyone in an Asylum movie lives to see the age of 30, the stars have aligned, and it's a God-given miracle.
Hallelujah! Holy shit!
So, yeah, I guess we're doing the whole bomb plan in the helicopter, despite the fact that we can't fly in these storms.
We can't fly in these storms. Hey, what are you doing?
In case things don't work out, we're gonna move to plan B.
Oh, good. So there is a plan B, because nothing is more insane than climbing into a helicopter and throwing pipe bombs into a tornado. Keep in mind that that is plan A. Plan B is to... God damn it. Okay, he gets in the truck, and he's gonna drive the truck into the tornado filled with bombs and basically Allahu Akbar the whole thing. And then he's gonna act like he's not coming back to further increase the drama of the story. Speaking of Plan A, they actually do it. They get in the helicopter filled with bombs and fly out a tornado. definitely nothing unsafe about that, flying an aircraft close to a tornado. But it's not the wind that becomes the problem, it's the sharks that are being thrown around. No, those are the problem, not the tornado. The sharks are the problem. And he's somehow able to shoot them down with a Beretta M9. You know, what are these things? And don't think I didn't forget the fact that tornadoes have been known to literally pick up houses, and helicopters are designed to be as light as possible. This is one of the most insanely idiotic plans I have ever seen. Finally, after going through the arming process step by step, they fucking throw the thing and it explodes. Eventually. And just like that, like magic, the tornado just seems to go away. Because this is a stupid movie for stupid people. Case in point, we have to have this one scene where a shark gets thrown directly at Finn and he has time to rev a chainsaw and chop it in half. Because despite all of the bullshit, this is technically an action movie. And then a shark comes out of nowhere and kills this guy. And then another shark comes out of nowhere and bites this guy's leg. And then he gets lifted up into the air after about a fucking eternity. So he's dead too. Naturally, the next step is we all go to the nearby retirement home where the elderly people are oddly okay with there being a tornado not 10 miles away. In fact, there are a lot of moving cars down there. For this being a shark apocalypse movie with a hurricane and 3 tornadoes, everyone's oddly casual about it.
Reporting live as just one of these massive tornadoes is about to tear through Hollywood and is heading on course through the valley and onto Van Nuys. It's about to tear through the city of...
Ugh, finally. I thought she'd never stop yelling. Finally, after all of that, they throw a bomb into the second tornado, and the tornado explodes with all of the sharks, who are all slapping into one another, more than likely. Probably sounds like every episode of Johnny Test. Oh, and the last guy from the airport gets his arm ripped off. No, what did he do to deserve that?
Stop! He's already dead.
Because sharks are raining from the sky into swimming pools, and old people are too stupid to get out of the pool when there's a tornado and a hurricane. This is an Asylum movie. We have to wait for our main character to show up to help everybody out of the pool, then pour gasoline all over it and set it on fire, and then it explodes. Which I'm not sure was entirely necessary. It was like 2 sharks, what the fuck? Meanwhile, back above stupid town, they throw the 3rd bomb, only this time it doesn't work because it shouldn't have been working this whole time. Let's be fucking honest here. And they only brought 3 bombs for 3 tornadoes. Were you seriously not planning to fuck this up? Because I would assume you would have fucked this up a million times. And then a shark grabs the helicopter, and then Nova falls off and gets eaten by an entirely different shark. And then the helicopter is on fire for no reason and then crashes somewhere. I don't care where. Frankly, I'm more amazed that Nova actually lasted this long. I mean, she lived long enough to tell her backstory. That's hard to do in these movies. And despite that disaster of a plan, and that terrible landing, and the helicopter spinning out of control, he's totally fine, and the helicopter is upright and everything. And it's, quite frankly, unbelievable how unscathed he is.
I'm gonna finish this.
Finn, I don't really think you have to finish this, honestly. I mean, there's a tornado right there, but everyone's still driving like it's nobody's business. I don't think anybody cares. Despite this, Finn gets in the Hummer, which is now filled to the brim with propane and propane accessories. Doesn't really do a series of death-defying stunts, but for some reason we have this filter with flesh speckles all over the place. We get a shot of his son running for some reason. We use the same clip for lighting the fuse that we use for all of these bombs because we could only afford one clip, and then he jumps out of a car that's going at least 90 miles an hour, and then the car, like, just flies off into the tornado. All I have to go, my planet needs me. Wait, seriously, that was it? That explosion was smaller than all of the other bombs. Either way, it is now raining sharks, and hundreds of thousands of people are probably dead now. What follows is this weird scene of Finn running towards his family, and his family running towards him. Finn is yelling for them to get out of the way, but they're all running, so I don't know what they're getting out of the way from. And his daughter just kind of stands there doing nothing, and then he pushes her out of the way, has time to rev his chainsaw, and then jumps into the mouth of a fucking shark. Finally, for the first time on Hunter Reviews, catering to Greg's weird vor fetish. Yeah, I do know, Greg. The whole office knows, Greg. But he chainsaws his way out of the shark, and I'm fucking dead serious here, pulls Nova out of the shark with him because she's not actually dead. Because fuck logic. Just fuck logic. And then Finn and his ex-wife kiss, because I guess they like each other again now. All it took was a shark apocalypse to bring everybody back together again. Oh, by the way, dead sharks are everywhere. God knows how many people are dead. There are billions of dollars worth of damages all over the city of Los Angeles. Oh, but our main characters made it out okay. Really? Really? You couldn't just let it be. You had to end with a pun. You had to end with a pun. Finn! Fuck this movie. Fuck it hard. Fuck it. I hate this movie. I genuinely hate everyone who had anything to do with this existing. I hate that people actually liked this movie. I hate that people actually paid money to see this movie. I hate that they used that money to make 4 more of these. And for the amount of blood and violence and everything else in this movie, there's a surprising amount of boring shit going on. It's like a bad roller coaster. There are a few bits in this movie where we're actually doing shit, and then that's just followed by like 5 minutes of nothing. It takes all the flow out of the plot. If this movie even had a plot, I don't know. They just decided to fight a tornado towards the end of the movie. Nobody in this movie has anything remotely interesting to add to the plot either. And on top of all of this, it was ugly to look at. Yeah, the Asylum effects, as always, are cheap as hell, but the tornadoes don't even look like tornadoes. They do that obnoxious camera thing in this movie as well. It's like, oh, shake the camera because crazy shit's going on. Just stop. Stop. I am so tired of Asylum movies being allowed to get away with this shit. I'm sick of Asylum being allowed to do this stuff. They can't keep getting away with it.
You can't keep getting away with it! You can't keep getting away with it!
Unfortunately, for the rest of humanity, they do keep getting away with it. With Sharknado 2, 3, 4, and 5. Whether or not I'm actually going to review those movies is still up in the air. But who knows? I am running out of Dog Who Saved movies. My name is Hunter, and this has been a Hunter Review. Fucking sharks, seriously. Hey, folks. Thanks for watching my stupid review on this stupid movie. And if you want to help me continue to be stupid and review this stupid stuff, consider our Patreon pledge over on our Patreon. $1 gets you access to the whole thing, which includes, but is not limited to, some exclusive stuff, early access to some videos, behind the scenes, and more. There's also a Hunter Impressions video over there that's early access. And also, special thanks to all of our Patreon donors: Gavin Domenico, Some Random Person, Saxy1, Madman1234855, Tribal Typhoon, Craig Premium, Sam, Julian Gushway, and Mustang Drew 4. If you guys want to be thanked at the end of all of these episodes and help me accomplish my dream of having to read off like 120 names, consider the link down below. Thanks for watching once again. Here's some credits. I'll be back whenever.
There once was a guy who created a machine, a thing that would take people to and from some other world. And when he arrived, he had run into a pony who smiled and decided that they both should go see a film. When that movie sucked, they decided to join forces, and then they created a new show called Hunter Reviews.
We can't fly in these storms.